Yeah! It's time, baby! He's a very tall man who really loves tunes. Can you climb the mountain? Will you be approved? It's the Mountain Jew Review. It's the Mountain Jew Review. Welcome to the Mountain Jew Review.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, internet land, Facebookers, YouTubers, Mountaineers, again, find something different, we'll start saying it. We today have the godfather of local hip-hop. We have one of my all-time favorites and probably the number one reason why I support every one of you guys here. If it was not for this man and my 7th grade habit of licking the back of somebody's hand and sneaking into the ranch bowl by stealing their stamp and watching Noise Wave, I would not be here today for you guys. We have the one, the only, Surreal.
What up? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, Surreal. This is a great opportunity. You guys will catch a little inside knowledge. Nothing that you probably haven't already heard if you haven't talked to Surreal. Surreal talks to everyone. This guy shows everybody love. If you go back a few episodes, watch the Comatose episode, it inspired Comatose to show the scene love. So again, 7 ways to Surreal, and we have absolutely one way to Surreal right now. So let's just dive right in, because surprisingly, Surreal, I've talked to a few artists that have no idea they know who you are, but they don't know who Noise Wave is.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
and that to me is kind of crazy that Noise Wave is almost forgotten on the younger community. You talk to the older cats that have been around, and they just... we had Bodes on here, and you were probably one of the heaviest influences to Bodes with Say Hi to Jimmy and all kinds of... It's awesome. So let's just dive in. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Born in Omaha, grew up, went to high school over in Council Bluffs, across the river. Council Bluffs, Iowa, if you're watching somewhere other than the Midwest. Just got involved in hip-hop at an early age in the 80s. And I don't know, it's always been something that I've been in love with. And I'm kind of veering off your question, but...
No, but...
but bringing it back... I've traveled quite a bit in the States. I've been to Mexico twice. That's the only times I've been out of the country so far, but I've lived a couple places in Nebraska and a couple places in Iowa. I've only actually lived in the Midwest, so I don't know, maybe I need to shake that up a little bit.
He did 311 us when Noise Wave started getting big. You know.
Fair enough.
Again, everybody shits on 311, but I'll tell you this: they went where their fan base was. You know, I'm not gonna lie. They probably had a bigger fan base in California than they did here, and they went where it was.
Yeah, I mean, respect to those guys. They're still touring and stuff.
You guys will learn where your streaming numbers are. That's where you need to hit for cities on tours and stuff like that. I mean, don't get hooked on having such a hometown build-up, because 21 Pilots, they have a great song about how their hometown don't even know who they are. You know, well, clearly they know who they are now. But when the song came out, they were like, our hometown barely knows us, and they only know us because we're blowing up.
Are they from Philadelphia? Where are they from?
Someplace in, I think, Dayton, Ohio.
Ohio, okay.
I think there's someplace in Ohio. But it's really good. I just find that funny because that's how it is, guys. Some of you will blow up out of states. Again, Surreal was able to tour the states for quite some time. Quite a few years.
Quite a few years, yeah.
Party hard.
Yeah.
Oh, Noise Wave. Like, one of the best descriptions I've ever heard of your earlier stuff. Because, again, Surreal now is just so peaceful and namaste and copacetic that if you listen to his angry earlier stuff, you will have a hard time believing it's Surreal. I played Dirty Butt Sex for my mom, and she looked at me and said, I cannot believe this is Zach. He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah, we recorded that in 1999, so what, 22 years ago. That got in the CD that was on, came out in January or February of 2000.
Yep, because I was a freshman.
Wow.
I remember when that come out. It was one of the hottest things for, like, okay, so I was a juggalo in high school, real big juggalo. So for us to have a legit underground hip hop act that was professional sounding and raw and didn't give a crap, and you guys were like the best mix of like Beastie Boys, NWA, and Gigi Allen. It was like the coolest thing ever. And like, so it clicked real well with a lot of the underground guys here. And I just, to this day, there's still kids from high school I talk to that we still bring up going to Noise Wave concerts.
That's awesome. It's kind of funny that you said that because I think what we were kind of shooting for was a mix of like a Gigi Allen or early Deftones meets like Beastie Boys, Run DMC, and then Two Live Crews, who we would use. But NWA is, you know, that's... Eazy-E's one of AP's
I did that
favorites,
with
so.
more of the aggressive raps, especially when it comes down to like Jimmy and things like that. You know, not necessarily like copying them, but lyric content.
No, I got what you're saying. Yeah, so being older than you, like when I was in high school, it was Ice-T and Body Count, Cop Killer, and NWA.
Yes, because I was probably in elementary school or somewhere around there when that became a big thing. You're more of my sister's age,
right?
Who was into Ice-T and
Public
Snoop Dogg
Enemy,
and stuff like that. So I kind of caught glimpses of the whole controversy around that and stuff, and how.
Well, in those years where it was pivoted, it pivoted from like Yo MTV Raps and BET and Rap City and stuff, and then like The Source and Vibe, the magazines, like rap pages and stuff, being some of the main outlets to push hip hop. There was a lot of political and socially conscious hip hop, which a lot of people call woke now, but
before it became commercialized.
Right, and then I think the Chronic, Dre and Snoop with the Chronic and Doggy Style and some of those albums like Warren G and stuff changed the where that G-Funk in that pop radio or top 40 radio started accepting harder edged hip hop, and it kind of shifted. Yeah, because like we had X-Clan, Intelligent Hoodlum, Cam. I mean, there was a lot of socially conscious hip hop, and then there still is, but like your Immortal Techniques and stuff. But it's more on that underground touring circuit.
If you don't know Immortal Technique, go look him up. Revolutionary Volume 2 is probably one of his best albums.
Yeah,
I mean, he's an amazing underground artist. If you guys have no idea who he is.
Yeah, I had the pleasure. It was. Do you remember Pumpkinhead?
Yes.
Pumpkinhead and Immortal Technique, I believe, were putting a tour together. I had the pleasure of talking to him on the phone years ago. And R.I.P. Pumpkinhead passed a few years ago. But yeah, that underground scene, it's still there. It kind of, like your like Necro and Ill Bill and the nonfiction guys and obviously Cage, High and Mighty. There was the Raucous Records and there was Eastern Conference Records and Def Jux, like Company Flow, which LPs now and Run the Jewels. But it's been fun watching that transform, and there being those players who still like Vinnie Paz and stuff like that still tour and do stuff underground with streaming. That's helped. The underground can move in more places now, but it's still kind of cool to see those Mad Child's another example. It's cool seeing those artists still out there doing
First
that.
Noise Wave cassette I had was an old Grateful Dead cassette of my dad's that we put tape over and recorded Noise Wave on.
That's awesome.
So that's how we used to get our underground music back in the day.
Yeah,
guys.
put the Scotch tape over the hole so you could record.
I was not affluent enough to have a CD player, so we didn't get burnt CDs. We literally got... And half the time we couldn't afford blank cassettes, so my dad, when he would go through his CDs and pop it in, and it'd be like, the uninvited's way too high for the supermarket, he would be so mad. What in the hell is... again, he'd pop it on, and Lunchbox Benny would pop on, thinking it was going to be Neil Young's Rockin' in the Free World.
Oh, man, that's rough.
He would just go livid on us.
So back in the late 80s, going back to NWA and Eazy-E, I had a... we would call it a dub tape, or we'd make pause mixes where you would play a little bit and then you'd pause it and then play a little bit of a beat or somebody else's record. But we would, with mixtapes and just even albums, we would have dubs of dubs, because the radios, the boom boxes would have two tape decks, and you could put one in and you could high speed dub it and it would sound like the Chipmunks. So anyway, I remember being on a church youth group trip with Eazy-E's album Easy Does It. It was a cassette, but it was a copy of a copy of a copy, and it was like real hissy. And I was
Sam Roca's interview. That hiss he talks about, like recording from a cassette to another cassette to another cassette, where he was mailing cassettes back and forth and recording off the same shit. That's the hiss they complain about, guys. When you guys complain your MP3 won't format with your wave, whole different complaints.
It's just amazing. Like, fast forward to when Napster came out in the 2000s. Because that was early 2000s ish.
99, 2000.
Yeah. And then LimeWire and stuff, like that was just amazing. Like how fast you could send tracks. And
even then, you waited 6 hours to download one song, guys.
Well, do you remember the first burners where it would burn it in real time? So like you get 80 minutes of music typically not in MP3 format on a CD. So like that's why Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusions. It was 2 like 74-minute
disc.
Yeah. But anyway, on the blank ones, it was 74 to 80 minutes, but it would burn in real time. So it would take like an hour and a half to burn a CD.
Yep.
And then they had like the 4-time burners, 16-time burners. Then they had it so it was just
and then you have your computers that weren't smart enough to tell you the CD was bigger than the one you were burning on, and stop burning it halfway through a song, and
then it's wasted.
Yeah, you're like, that's $1 something, you dicks, because you can buy like 5 for like $10.
Well, yeah, you go to like Best Buy and get a spindle of Verbatim brand.
Yeah, for 100 for like $50 or something.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Them are the old days, guys. Thank Merch by Marcus for making it easy for you guys for $1.75 a copy. Like Drama and all them guys. Thank you for making it so much easier on these guys.
It is cool. Like I saw Jesse C. Didn't I see it in here?
Mumbles?
Yeah, Mumbles. Yeah. And just a couple other guys like Marcus did that one.
Marcus did almost that entire board, bro. Split C's, C10.
But it's cool seeing the guys doing the guys and gals doing the short run. Yeah, Juju's C10. You're right. Doing the short run.
Drama's
CDs.
done some up there, and some of them are Dramas. Some are Sam's short runs.
Nice. Yeah.
That Offensive was done entirely by Sam.
Nice.
So there's like
Bobo
keychains. Drama.
That's dope.
Drama was doing keychains. So is Merch by Marcus.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, Dramas got back from tour. I know this airs in the future, but
his episode dropped. Tilly's episode dropped. Him and Tilly just come back from the astronauts.
Astronauts, that's dope.
Looked like they had a hell of a good time on that.
Yeah.
A little too much fun, you visiting legal states dicks.
Oh, I see, yeah. I actually talked to AJ on the phone yesterday for a minute. Yeah, AJ the Dread. Big shout out to all the artists. We're name dropping and all the artists on the wall. And just the scene in general, the Midwest scene.
It's an amazing thing. I really like it. It's growing tremendously, and just the amount of support here is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, everybody here tends to be really supportive of each other. And basically they just all want to see each other grow. So then let's go back to when you first started recording music.
Like, not the mixtapes, the cassette
but
pause
like
mixes,
on
like vocals,
professional equipment, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Because I know not everybody has like went and paid for like a professional studio, but where you decided.
Because I started like karaoke and then graduated to like 4-track Tascam.
Like back to Mr. Roca and his recording in a karaoke machine with a broken end of a telephone receiver. He was wrapping it into a telephone receiver.
That's super red.
You know?
Yeah, we used to wrap some of the old Sony headphones. It would go both ways. The signal, so you could use like a wrapping in the headphones. Oh man, that's super hip hop. I remember ordering my first set of turntables. It would have been 93. They were Gemini. The mixer was like 19 inches, but it seemed like it was just like the crossfader. Like now with like Newmark and Rain and Pioneer and stuff, everything's real neat. And obviously DJs use Serato and Trackster and Virtual DJ and stuff, but it used to be a lot of equipment. And
yeah. Now half the time they show up with a laptop and maybe a little boot box on the side.
Yeah, and to each his own. There's different styles of doing that. But to answer your question about recording, I remember Bob Besta, R.I.P. He had was it 8? No, was it reel? He had reel to reel, and then he also had like, I remember going and recorded with him, and then E-Babs, Eric, Big Mrs. DJ, who had the ADAT. It looked like a VCR tape, a VHS tape, but it would record. So we did that, and then the albums we were talking about earlier, like Infernal Racket, Community Standards, Infernal Racket's right there on the wall, but a lot of those we did at Digital Age, and that was super professional. Like we get the masters on DAT, and then a mastered burn copy on disc. But anyway, I'm kind of going all over the board. Yeah, recording professionally was important, and then like spending time mixing it. I don't think I even have one of those. That's dope.
Red Tape Bet.
That's 1997. So that one we did ourselves. Squid and AP and I.
1997, guys.
Now that's AP on the front. Rowdy Jesus. AP.
When he was handsome.
My brother.
He's still handsome.
That one we recorded on a 4-track Tascam, and then we sent it to disc makers. They're still around. They're a duplication and replication house. Actually, I had heard of them because Bloodhound Gang pressed their first demo using disc makers, and I saw on the back of either their demo or their they weren't signed yet, is what it was. It was like an EP or something.
See how old school he gets, an unsigned Bloodhound Gang.
Holy shit. I remember seeing that they had their disc pressed up from disc makers. So, and then I had a buddy who MCAK. He had used disc makers, so we started using disc makers to press them. And so what I'm getting at is whether it was we've done cassettes, records, DVDs, VHS tapes, and CDs over the years, but you would have to order so many copies to even get it. You couldn't do 10 or 20 runs. You would have to get thousands. So you had to hustle them. You had to. Now, granted, because streaming wasn't, YouTube and Spotify and iTunes weren't around yet.
Wasn't so high.
No, people wanted a physical copy because they would keep that the CD thing up their visor. Remember the ones in the
Yeah,
visor,
yeah.
and you put some CDs or those big booklets that way.
The ones that scratch the fuck out of your CDs and had cause you to replace every one of them.
Yeah,
So
I remember
them.
People wanted hard copies.
Yeah.
So
Flipping through
like,
the book. Stay off your phone while you're driving. Meanwhile, back in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, so like a run
Just
of...
to hear one song.
Right. No, it would. It would be like, or like on tape, but even before that, you'd have to rewind. So when I was little, my dad had an 8-track tapes. Those took forever to get, because there was only 4 channels or something.
Yep.
Or, yeah, I guess 8.
4 on each side.
Yeah,
You'd
hence 8.
Put 4 and you flip it and it'd be 4
And
on
it
the
would be
backside.
like, yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it's just amazing. I guess I'm infatuated with the technology of it and how it affects the local artists, in the independent artists and stuff.
Nowadays I think streaming has made it a lot easier for them.
Yeah.
You guys again get hooked on having a hometown fan base, and just so you know, sometimes Omaha has they showed Garth Brooks love with 96,000 of them fucking idiots, and yet 5 went to a local show that night. So don't get your hopes up on hometown support too high, because they'd rather go see a fucking shitty country singer that didn't even give us Miley Cyrus. Like, if it was Billy Ray, I could defend him, because at least Miley got naked on a wrecking ball. But it's fucking Garth Brooks, bro. The only good thing he did, again, smoke break covered in my backyard and did better. Surreal was there.
I was there. That was a fun event.
You want to know how awesome Surreal is? He just randomly showed up to hang out at my 13th wedding anniversary renewal of the vows.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to come out and show support and have fun, and he came out, drank some beers, listened to some music, and just had a good time.
I think somebody slid me some gummies that were not Brock's candy. Oh, man.
It might have been a really fun night.
But yeah, where were we going with this? Yeah, I don't have so much animosity towards Garth Brooks personally, but if that's where we're at in the interview, I'm cool with it. The local scene streaming, and it's good just seeing everybody working on music, putting music out, booking shows. The venues are great around here. That's, there's shows where there's 5-6 people, and there's shows where there's hundreds, and there's shows where there's thousands, but
don't let the numbers get to you.
Right, yeah, don't get too hung up on that. It is a numbers game from the business side. From the artistic side, just keep working on your craft, designing new merch, working on new beats.
Let's get back to that point where he just said designing new merch. This guy could tell you a thing or two about where merch will get you in this business. It's a very important tool for you guys. It's not just a way for you to earn a little extra money and reinvest back into your art and your craft and your business, but it's a great way for me to be able to advertise you, for your fans to be able to advertise you guys. Like, look at all this stuff just in here. I mean, you go and take a look at the back of my car, and it's filled with stickers. I got like 5 Surreal stickers on the back of my car because he has that many stickers out.
The logo is important, because even if you think of like your bigger artists, like Korn is known for that.
Backwards R.
The backwards R, Eminem with the backwards E. I mean, that's a coincidence maybe that they're both backwards, but
I mean,
the
Hatchet
art
Man with the insane car.
Yeah, that's a great example. That's
everybody.
Strange music with the
Marilyn Manson with his lightning bolt thing.
Yeah,
You know, everybody has a bit of a logo. I mean, it's not just their name. Some of you guys can kind of upgrade that a bit. Hook up with Merch by Marcus, hook up with Drama the Artist, hook up with, any one of these guys. They'll Sam Roca, Surreal, he'll point you in the right direction where somebody will do it for you. Maybe not necessarily free, because everybody's time's worth money, guys, but they'll do it, and a logo goes a long way.
Looking around the room, there are a lot of cool logos. You can put it on
Black Market Warriors, and Comatose, Kid Corduroy, Hellfire, Holographic Music, Nappy Face,
right,
and
goes
like a long way.
Yeah, and even with emojis being used a lot on social media, like Jay Influential has the wolf, or like Snake Lucci out of Des Moines has, you can use a snake, and who we're talking about because of the
back to Comatose with the pumpkin, or Mr. Gates and the ghost.
Good examples.
It's even if it's not necessarily a personally designed, it's a little bit of a gimmick. And I'm not saying go start a fucking psychopathic circus and stuff, guys, but
No, I
you know,
mean,
kind of
everybody has their own lane.
market a bit of a gimmick to yourself, you know, at least get
Yeah, or a gimmick or a
something
trademark.
that represents you artistically, visually.
And some people in the word. I agree with what you're saying. I know some people don't like the word gimmick because sometimes when you say gimmick, they're thinking of like, remember when Criss Cross wore their jeans and their shirts backwards? Some people associate gimmick with that, and you're using it more.
Mask.
You're using it in the lane of gimmick, meaning like a branding.
Or, a visual representation of your art that instills us to want to listen to it.
Yeah, and wear the T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, well, when I see somebody's shirt, it makes me think, man, maybe. And again, that's just me, guys. That's not everybody in the world. But listen, you only want to find the 5% of me in this world, and you can go forever off your art. I mean,
that's fair.
I mean, unless you really want to get into the commercial side, you really need to tap into the 5% that's going to support the hell out of you. Because that 5% will take you places.
Yeah, there's your core fan base is a good place. There's so many different types of there's so many kinds of genres and avenues, and it's kind of almost endless with the internet. And,
I'm telling you, there's a fan out there for everybody. There's a super fan for every single person that creates music. You guys just got to find them. It's I may not like all of sorry, Daisy down there sleeping. I may not like all of your guys' music, but trust me, I share the hell out of it because somebody else out there might like it. And
that's a good way to look at it. And I mean, to be honest, whether you're independent or national or in your mom's basement or whatever level you're at, you know, not everybody's gonna like every one of your songs. That seems like an obvious thing, but you know, just keep writing, keep recording, keep working on.
And don't throw it away. Bring it back up 2-3 years later and let Surreal listen to it. And he says, hey, man, if we just add this in there and tweak this, you know how much... And then, boom, it turns into fire.
Yeah, I like that.
You know,
so we brought up Sam a few times, and super mad respect and love to Sam and all his projects. He over the years, he's a great asset to the community. He and I do not agree on this, though. I not like it's not a strong disagreement, but the other day we were talking about or posting about, I actually kind of like going back and listen to like low budget demos. And maybe I'm wording this wrong, but Sam likes the real Sam likes underground, but I like the real underground. And we were talking about how sonically some of that stuff turns him off.
I like basement tapes, is what I was calling them.
Yeah, basement tapes.
Where they're the first edit, just a complete rough draft, rough cut of something, and then maybe 4 or 5 years later, 10 years later, they re-release a song completely upgraded. I like listening to the difference, and then when you listen to their music,
that's exactly what it is.
The
progression.
Yes.
I even though like this, I once in a while like listening to finding tapes like at the Goodwill with somebody like screaming on it or, like just like taking a needle and like complete abstract noise. Like I actually enjoy that.
If you don't have Surreal on Facebook and see some of the, and I'm gonna say it, some of the weird, goofy, abstract shit he finds at these record store and posts. Oh, look what I scored today, and you're like, dude, what the? Like that's a fucking 1977 funk record that nobody's ever heard.
I've never posted this. I've never told anybody this, but when I go to the used vinyl in CD shops, we got a lot of cool ones around here. You know, Homer's, Canesville Collectibles, the Recycled Sounds. I'm gonna say this, but it might not work for everybody. So if it smells bad, I'll buy it. Like, not if it doesn't smell bad, doesn't mean I won't buy it. Like there's certain labels like Ruthless Records or Def Jam where if you find it, you're like, this is probably gonna be worth checking out.
So guys,
but if you like tapes, if it has a certain smell, I'm like, oh, that record's gonna be funky because it literally stinks. So I know there's something good sounding on it.
Either he's on some real good shit, or you just found out firsthand you can smell music.
Well, so back in the day, like tapes, certain record labels like Capitol and EMI, which had the same distribution, they smelled a certain way, brand new, like out of the wrapper.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's because that it ages or if it's just the mold and mildew from like sitting in somebody's basement. But there's these certain smells you're like. It doesn't smell like somebody's feet necessarily.
No,
but there's certain smells, in whether it's record or tape or CDs, not so much. But
I'm a big hound for finding my favorite books first pressings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And when I buy them, if they don't have that old book
smell books definitely have a smell, yeah.
I won't buy it. Like, if it smells too new for a first pressing.
It smells like an airport, you're like, no.
I'm like, bro, you kept this in like, I want something with a little history in it. Like, I need some fingerprints on it. Like, I don't know. So I totally understand how the smell will attract you to buying it. It's just that old kind of musty smell makes you like, this got some history. It's got to be good. This dude played it a bit.
Yeah.
You know, a couple smudges on
Well, and with records, sometimes they'll have the BPM, the beats per minute, written on there, like 98 beats per minute from the DJ. And I actually know about 6 or 7 of the DJs in Omaha's handwriting from buying their old records.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. It's something that's kind of nerdy or something where most people would be like, what are you even talking about? But yeah, I can go to a record store, and if I see a certain genre, I already know which DJs are probably going to be the ones that trade that in. And a lot of them traded them in because they've upgraded their systems. They don't spin vinyl anymore. So, but yeah, like EDM and hip hop and R&B and stuff, you'll see like a Sharpie with like 96 beats per minute. And they'll be like, oh, that's DJ so-and-so. I know his writing.
That's awesome. See, the dude is a walking Omaha history. Like, you guys wanted to know about some old school guys that you're just like, oh, what was this guy about? What was he doing? Message Surreal. He'll get back to you. He may not be...
Yeah, no, I totally try to get back to everybody.
He's a busy man, but trust me, this guy will give you his attention when he has his time.
Yeah, Zach Surreal at gmail.com, ZACHSURREAL at gmail.com. You can email me there. Facebook, it's just Surreal the MC on Facebook. I think it's Zach Surreal on Instagram, but you can email me or message me, and then Zach Surreal Hennings is my main Facebook too. So yeah, if you guys send me a message, I get a lot of messages throughout the week, but I try to reply to all of them, whether it's about booking a show or if you need a DJ for an event or whatever. You just are like, hey, lately I've been getting a lot of requests for doing guest vocals and stuff, and yeah, we can make that happen. We go to the studio and work on a song.
This dude loves
or just say hi or tell me your favorite
of
flavor of candy bar.
So Noise Wave does make some reunion shows and stuff coming back.
Yeah.
After this, or before this airs, you're doing the Ouija Mac show.
Well, yeah, Nice Enough Ouija Mac show. That will have already happened October 17th in Benson at the Reverb, and I'm super pumped. His stuff's crazy. I love it.
I'm not the biggest Ouija Mac fan. Don't get me wrong, guys. I get it. He's the new age psychopathic, and he's literally holding that whole company right now because he's the biggest draw on there. And it's amazing. And again, not everybody's my cup of tea. You know what I mean? But that show itself is drawing 5 guys that I want to go see. So I guess I'm going to that show, aren't I? Because guess what? The wonderful guys that are tattooed above my ass here are playing that show. Kid Corduroy, the Outlaws. We had 2 strikes on here. I mean, there's quite a few good opening acts on that show. So even if you don't like Ouija Mac, you have great fucking openers on that. And if you miss Noise Wave, you deserve to get punched in the balls.
But this will air after that show. But definitely Smoke Break. Check out the artist he's talking about.
Like,
what's the laundromat thing? I'm like totally infatuated with. I know they did the video, but before the video, do they literally hang out and do laundry together? I don't.
Yeah, they live in the same apartment complexes.
Yeah, that I'm
together,
aware of. But
and Morgan wasn't really used to doing laundry by himself, so now they made it a friendship thing.
Yeah, it's every so many days they're doing laundry. I'm like,
them
wait
two at the laundromat's the most beautiful thing. there's nothing wrong with two buddies washing their underwear together.
I suppose not. I don't know.
You know, like,
yeah.
Like, you want me to start your boxers for you? Like,
There you go.
That's friendship, guys. You can learn something
Well,
from it.
the recent thing is they were mad. Mike was mad because the soda machine wasn't working. I don't know. It's this whole thing. Like they could totally run with this.
And they got a music video called "Antisocial" on YouTube on the Cutthroat page. Go run that up. The funniest part is they hit the freaking Coke machine and a Pepsi comes out.
Oh, that's what he was saying. My favorite Pepsi machine with Coca-Cola.
Yep.
Okay.
It was great. It just made me chuckle and laugh. I thought that was the best. So go run that video up. Them guys are amazing.
I love it.
So then, Noise Wave comes back together for reunions, so we don't get them that often. But Surreal still sticking his dirty little fingers in people's work. The one only vinyl I've actually ever purchased for myself happens to be local vinyl that Surreal was very instrumental in getting put together. We got Big Mista, Bacon the Small Town General, Kid Corduroy, Maddox, M3, you,
Dirty Handsome.
Handsome.
And then Sam mastered it.
And
so a lot of people involved. Props to everybody he mentioned.
Little Dirty Sam Roca's fingers were on this. So that's about, 8 people?
Yeah.
8 local guys on one little vinyl that $10, $12, whatever it was, supported a handful of artists.
Yeah,
you know?
It was fun doing that. This was a 7-inch record. Noiseway put out a 12-inch single, and then Buck Bowen and I a few years ago put out a 12-inch EP. So this will be my 3rd vinyl release. It's just what I was hoping to do was to get on a schedule with doing like 4 a year, like every quarter putting out vinyl. And then I know it's kind of cliche to blame everything on COVID, but COVID kind of
screwed some
derailed that a little bit. But
production
hopefully,
is definitely being held up by that crap.
Yeah, but hopefully get back on track to put out 4 vinyl releases a year. In fact, if you have anything that you'd be interested in submitting, once again, zachsurreal@gmail.com, you could submit
At
tracks.
the back of the intro, I will make sure that his email and info is on there so you can pause in the first minute of this video and get all that information. Because dead serious, when he says submit it, he's not one of them guys that are going to BS you and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to gas you up until you give me this. And,
no, I'm going to check it out. And then anything we release on vinyl or whatever, you keep your publishing, you know, whether you're registered with BMI or ASCAP or CSOC or, you know, you do it completely independently. I don't take any rights or publishing monies from you. I just am pressing records. So
he just is here to help. You know, he spent a lot of days putting cocaine and rapping about killing cops up his nose. He's making amends for it, guys. So help him make amends.
Something like that. Keep that balance.
And pump his email full of good vibes and good shit.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
So that he can keep on a positive track.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be hip hop. That's the genre I work with the most. But if you got some funky noise stuff, maybe we should make a record that smells. So like a scratch and sniff record,
like the old Nickelodeon stuff, the Smell-O-Vision.
Totally. Oh, nice. Wait, yeah.
Marcus, Caleb, get on some scratch and sniffs. We need that technology from our local guys so we can make an all local scratch and sniff.
Yeah.
Scratch and sniff record. Get it? You know, for the DJs, scratch and sniff.
Oh,
total. That was fucking awesome. I don't care. That's why maybe I should be a rapper for them kind of word plays.
There you go. There you go.
But, and again, guys, Surreal does so much for this scene.
No, I appreciate
like I said, there's just 8 or 9 local guys involved on this little 7-inch EP that's just a fun piece of... Remember, I don't own a record player. I've never listened to it. I can find the songs on Spotify and Amazon and all that. But that's not the point of whether or not I play it. It's the point of whether or not I enjoy it, you know, and that's when they say, hey, does this bring you joy? Do you need to buy one? Fuck yeah, it brought 8 other people joy too, knowing they sold one of their records, you know.
Yeah.
And the best part is I know several of these guys, it's their first vinyl they were ever on.
You know what? Marcus made these labels too, so it'd be 9. Like,
oh yeah. Shout out Dupree. I forgot he told me that the other day. Dupree did make the labels. See, so and it's again, Sam may not have been rapping or
no, but he mastered the songs. Mastering's where you get the levels to where they need to be. So like side A and side B are at the same level, or all the songs on a CD are the same.
So when song 1 plays, it doesn't play at a higher volume than song 2, guys.
Yeah, and that's not even necessarily true because back in the day, you used to master CDs where like song 12 would be a little bit louder than song 1, so they'd eventually go. But that's a whole different.
That's a crescendo.
Yeah, that's a whole different discussion. But mastering compresses it and makes sure it's basically so if you listen to the music in a car or on a boombox or on headphones, it's where it needs to be in all situations. It's kind of a layman's term, but it makes it sound better.
And I guarantee you that's not as easy as you think.
No, it's takes a certain ear to do that.
And certain people have don't even care what your music is, but imagine how many times they got to listen to your fucking song when they do that. So pay them what they're worth.
Yeah, that's kind of been a theme all week with video stuff. Well, and then so mixing a record. Mixing's where you make sure like the drums are here, and like rapper one's here, rapper one's hypes are here.
Yep.
So everything on that record, on that track, sounds where it needs to be, and then mastering takes that overall
and formats it.
Yeah, it kind of an EQ. It's in that world, but it's different. But
that's why on a lot of these guys' famous records, you see 1,700 people underneath them credit list. Because it's very hard to be a jack of all trades when it comes
a lot of the mainstream artists have an engineer who's pushing the knobs.
Again,
and then they have
independent artists. I can name Spose and Megaran, Bag of Tricks Cat, Whitney Payton, ton of them that you would think, oh, they do all their own shit, and then you come and find out that they have 8 other guys pressing buttons for them too, because sometimes people have a better ear than you.
Oh, that's for sure. That goes with the cliche. Like
you're your worst critic, so sometimes it's best if you just do your vocals or maybe your little bit of instrumental, step back and let somebody else work it into the magic it needs to be.
Yeah. I'd like to re-emphasize or reiterate that the community of everybody's local and regional music scenes, like there's the artists who design the merch, there's the people who design the flyers and the posters, and the album covers, and hey, party foul. And the engineers, you got your sound guys at shows, you got your DJs, your producers, and it is a collective. The fans, the people who work the venues, the booking agents, and your bartenders. It's just from the live show to the studio, just the podcasts. It's a community, and keeping some of that money local. Local meaning like regional, local for the scenes too, but regional as far as like trading shows with Sioux Falls or Sioux City or Des Moines or Kansas City, wherever. It's not necessarily even. I don't mean to make it sound like the Midwest versus everybody else, but there's some states are so big like California or Texas where you can literally tour for quite a while in just those states. In the Midwest, the markets are a little more spread out, so you're going to spend a little more on gas getting your van from market A to market B. But
it's hard to hit 2 venues, 2 separate nights in Omaha and get to say different people.
Well, yeah, that's
like you can go to LA and hit 3 venues Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all 3 venues get completely different crowds every time.
Yeah,
cities.
It's some of those markets just because of pure size.
Yep.
And then some of it is, like you got your Vegas or something,
or
where
go to
it's an
Memphis and San Antonio, where they're music capitals.
Austin.
Then you can go to a couple venues every other day and still get good crowds. We're not a music capital here. We don't have a walk around and you see.
No, I mean the indie rock scene was for a while, it might still be, but you're right. And where I was going with it too is, and
that's more of our city itself not developing that. Omaha could have such a better if they did open containers where you can go through entertainment districts. Like
that would probably change.
Well,
it.
that's the big. I don't drink, and I'm not a big supporter of it, but I know that's a big driving market behind concerts, venues, and shows is alcohol sales. That's just a driving market in America. True. Like everywhere you go to a college fucking football game, and they're selling alcohol, and the kids playing on the field can't even drink it. You know what I mean?
True.
That's just the driving force. So if Omaha had one of them entertainment districts, where then we would allow different venues. See, Omaha makes a big deal about whether or not a venue has a show because Omaha has they equivalent. They're so racist in this town, and they're against a lot of the hip hop and local music scene like that they're afraid, it causes violence, and that's not true. And I think that's one of the reasons why downtown has such a horrible music scene when it should have a vibrant music scene.
Yeah, that might be. I mean, obviously, segregation and racism, that aspect's completely horrible. As far as like specifically downtown, I never really sat and thought about it from that angle, but I'm not necessarily disagreeing. To backtrack, my energy was more on encouraging people to keep networking. But as far as what you're saying, now I know the Astro, they just broke ground. Is it around Papillion and La Vista? The Astro is going to be that amphitheater that has indoor outdoor. 1% Productions, who owns Reverb, and
they got Sokol now too, don't they?
Yeah, that's going to be the Admiral. That actually opens March 22, and then the Astro, which is 1% in Mammoth, and I think the city of La Vista, that opens in 23, I believe. And those venues will bring more culture and more music, more art to those regions. And I know Benson Theater is going over some remodeling in Benson, and Benson's a pretty good hot spot for artists. So.
Like, see, if Omaha had jumped on during Four Winds, and allowed walking between the bars with drinks and whatnot during that event.
Oh, I see what you're talking.
That would have drove more people there. That's what I mean.
I see what you're talking about. You're talking about like the liquor license
like
discrepancies. Yeah, or like
because when you go to San Antonio and you go to Austin, they allow that in them cities. Not everywhere are you allowed an open container. Milwaukee's another city that has a decent music scene where that's one of the driving forces is being allowed to walk between different. Because see, here's the problem with Omaha. A lot of venues have a no re-entry policy. That kills it if you're trying to do multiple venues.
That is, I 100% agree that
you can book 3 shows on the same night, right next to each other, if you allowed patrons to walk between them.
No, that's true. You're right. I've had the pleasure of
because to me, some of that's been my funnest time watching local talent in these out-of-town trips.
I've kind of bob and weave,
where I can come in and check out different ones. Because again, not every one of your music is mine. So if I'm not digging your set, and I could go to the bar next door and catch another set of somebody else, and then go to a different bar or venue and catch another set, all within walking distance.
That would be cool.
Not only would that drive our music and art scene, because then you can do, like when Benson does, because they do the Benson art crawl. Yeah. So why don't throw in bands here or there and do that more often? We don't do that enough. That's where Omaha lacks it. That should be an every other weekend thing in Omaha. And
like make it more of a central, like not centralized, but like a melding pot.
Yeah.
In the different outlets.
Instead of, we got... and then basically, like I said, if people have a hard time seeing the segregation in that, there's total exclusions when they do. Now, if you put them all together as one, guess what? You're just showing exactly what Omaha is, a melting pot.
Yeah, it would be cool to... I've had the pleasure to do music down in Austin for South by Southwest, and then Milwaukee. I've done quite a few shows up there. And it is those places where you can like walk into a reggae show and then maybe a country show or a jazz show, like literally
within blocks of each other.
Yeah, that is kind of fun. I mean, not kind of fun; it's super fun.
And it just
you're kind of bobbing and weaving.
And it just gets everybody together. There's the demographics there are so amazing because you're just like, dude, I see everybody under the sun here. Yeah, and that's what I like. And again, it gives people that maybe they thought they were only into reggae, and then they hear this. hip hop artist that like AJ the Dread or something, you know, where he got some real heavy reggae influence, and you're like, oh, not all hip hop's about crack gat and Hennessy's, you know, like
That's the kind I like.
well, I know,
You
but
say crack gat and Hennessy's? I like
Yeah.
that. No, I see where.
No, but
I'm
you
being
know what I
facetious,
mean.
but I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I think that'd just be cool if Omaha had something like that, and I think that would really drive it a lot. Cause again, I see too many different camps too.
In pause, shout outs to Culture House in Marcy, because you've been in there yet? Yeah, that's a dope spot.
That was North
30th.
30th.
Yeah.
Yep. I haven't been there yet. I've seen a couple artists were doing
There's a
some.
24th.
Maybe it's 24th.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
know
off
they
of
moved, but
Lake or something close to Lake.
yeah, in that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I did a bunch of park benches down there. I had to sandblast and paint
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
when they were
Yeah.
getting that all ready. But I've seen a bunch of guys hit that up too, so it seems like a real dope place.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just, what was it? Labor Day weekend they had some.
Yeah, Labor Day, and then Juneteenth's a big day
Yep.
here in Omaha, the birthplace of Malcolm X, and there's a lot of spots. Maybe we need to consider like having more of a centralized, maybe website to kind of promote. Because I know that.
By the way, it is getting developed.
Oh, okay. I noticed there's people as much promotion as some of us promoters do. Like people will be like, "Oh, I didn't know that was going on last week," and I would have stopped by and said hi.
So my cousin is in the process of developing it right now. I made a post about it, guys. Make sure you DM me, and I will send you the email link to send your social links, your website links, and all that too, because the page is just gonna basically be a link tree.
Yeah, okay,
One
cool.
giant link tree to every artist in town.
Cool, yeah, that's cool. Because I know there's so many,
And I mean every artist. You ain't gotta be rap and hip hop. I mean, you can be the Scabby Ghouls, you can be country. I'm putting you on there, because again, like I know some artists that do some sweet tracks with the Scabby Ghouls. You know what I mean? So it's all about cross promotion, and it's just showing everybody there's.
Yeah, they got like that rockabilly, psychobilly type of vibe, isn't it?
I called it Scooby Doo punk rock,
Yeah, okay.
and they
cool.
really liked it.
Yeah.
It's like a surf punk rock kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and I found out that they actually formed that because they're husband and wife and wanted something to do together as a couple.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah.
And them things are, them are why I love supporting you guys. A lot of you guys are very family oriented. You include your family members, you and your brother. Clearly,
Yeah.
there's a lot of husband and wife teams that design the merch and stuff. Like a lot of the husbands are the artists, and the wife does all of the marketing, basically
Yeah,
their manager and stuff.
keep it in the family,
really
yeah.
cool. I really enjoy seeing that when you guys work together and you're building your brand and your label with each other.
The family in the community stuff makes me think. I think sometimes too. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm not guilty of this, but we mention the names that play, like whether it's a venue name or an artist name or a production company name. I know sometimes it seems kind of cliquey, but that's not the case. I think I know. Like anybody, if you feel like, oh, I'm not getting shows or I'm not getting open for nationals, if you feel that way, once again, shoot me a text or hit me up, shoot me an email or an IM and be like, just be straightforward with it. Like, I feel like you don't have to necessarily say so-and-so's getting more shows than me. It's not an A versus B thing, but just be like, I wish I had a little bit more opportunity, or this venue I haven't really been able to get my foot in. Sometimes I can kind of make that work out. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's just a matter of somebody going earlier in the day when the venue is like stocking shelves and talking to the owner or the promoter or the booking agent and just making that connection.
Don't think a no is that just because one guy told you don't mean everybody's going to.
It's kind of like that old
and
like Redenbacher where he had to go like knock on so many doors with his popcorn.
And they might tell you no because you don't fit the demographic of the show.
Well,
if you're a poppy-go-lucky rapper, they're not going to throw you on a horrorcore show. The demographics got to be there too, guys.
And I just think like sometimes like certain people work with certain people because they work, and it doesn't mean they're trying to exclude. It's just sometimes we need a reminder. Like there's certain artists who let themselves be known, and they they show up and support. They're in the front row. Like Mumbles is great. Mumbles goes and sees everybody. He travels.
Jay Lively is another one that's everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Props to both those guys.
Two Strikes has been, Bodes. Like I've seen so many artists go out and show up to other people's shows and
and it puts their face in front of the promoters and the venue owners and the other artists. So when they're going to book shows or maybe send somebody a few $100 for a feature, those names, not only do they have the T-shirts and the logos out there on the internet, and the T-shirts physically being worn by fans and stuff, but they're physically out there shaking hands and kissing babies like a politician. So sometimes I want to, I guess what I'm reiterating or trying to convey is that there's not, sometimes it seems like favoritism, and it's not necessarily that. You just kick a little harder on that door, knock a little harder on that door, and let yourself be known and be like, hey, I'm interested in getting shows, and that really goes a long way, just showing up.
And there's so many promoters in this town. So many promoters. Like Juju said, he was having a little hard time getting shows, so he started talking to the venues themselves.
Yeah, I see him everywhere. So, I've known him for years. He used to walk up and down the 100 block over at Council Bluffs and do magic tricks for people. Yep. And so people kind of got to know who he was through that.
Through his magic. Silly things.
I DJ'd at Thunderbowl, the bowling alley, and he would show up there. In fact, I worked with Peanut from 311's sister. You brought up 311 at the beginning of the podcast, and I guess I went full circle. I'm getting off the track
back
now.
Back to 311.
Yeah. 360 to 311. So, I did that.
I like that.
Daisy didn't. She frowned at me. She was like, eh.
But again, like Surreal said, there's ton of options. Ton of them. And he is probably one of the best assets you can get in touch with in this town. Whether it be getting through somebody for flyers or promotional ideas, Surreal can connect you with the right people. Whether it's through finding a reasonably priced studio or a studio with certain equipment, Surreal can point you in the right direction.
There's a book called Tipping Point. There's a book called Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, and it's been out for a number of years. But it's about people who are like connectors and mavens, and it's about people in general, not the music business per se, but that connect people. It's actually about tipping points of things, but it mentions how as communities and individuals we work and interact, and that's just intriguing to me because you see it, you go to shows and you're like, oh, so and so, or the record's a great example of that, how these artists are actually, they produced it, these guys voices on it.
This record here is 100% pure example of being symbiotic, not parasitic. A lot of guys don't understand that. Symbiotic is a bunch of parasites that live together as one organism, not feeding off of each other, but feeding each other. There's a big difference, guys. Learn to be symbiotic. Learn to, if your job's to be the head and tell the arms what's in front of it, then tell the arms what's in front of it and let the arms do what the arms do. Sometimes we got to step back and realize that some of that stuff works a lot better if we just work together, not against each other. Again, you get so many fingers on every little bit of this that not one guy is taking credit for it. And the fact that every guy gives everybody credit for it is the greatest show of a symbiotic relationship in this scene. And when you realize that the different genres of the people involved in this alone is just unbelievable. I mean, I highly recommend you go check out both of these tracks, and I challenge you to realize once you meet the people involved, you're like, holy fuck, is that such a great thing. Might not be the world's #1 selling record, but just the relationship involved on what it was to make it is a beautiful thing. And when you start to understand that, you start to understand how we make this scene grow and be more connected.
It kind of makes me think maybe we should collectively go in and buy the laundromat for Mike and Morgan. Let's just purchase the laundromat for them.
I'm still charging them to do their laundry, though.
They're pumping out quarters.
You know?
As long as, like, it's whatever product's in the soda machine's not what the label says. That's the main thing.
That's what we got to do, just for Mike. That is awesome.
That's awesome.
Really like that. So again, guys, we'll trick Surreal into doing our final fun questions here.
Awesome.
Hit up his email. 3 people you can do a collab with.
3 people I can do a collab with.
Alive or dead. And they don't have to just be like anything. You can have a dude as your producer or an engineer.
Butch Vig, the producer / drummer with Garbage and a lot of Sub Pops. He's the guy who did the Boom, Shalak Lock Boom, House of Pain remix. I think he'd be fun to work with. Bobo, the percussionist from the Beastie Boys and Cypress Hill. He would be fun to do something with. He's got that Latin percussion, you know, the bongos and the congos and stuff. And is Rip Taylor still alive? Going back to Bloodhound Gang, I actually don't think
Bloodhound Gang.
But I don't know. To narrow it down to 3, I just like meeting people and you know, Cyndi Lauper. For some reason, I feel like Cyndi Lauper would be fun to collaborate with. Too bad
Kathy Lou and Bono's not around anymore, because then that'd be a badass music video.
Yeah. Cyndi has the whole like the music and the wrestling by like she's on so
just
many.
a total 80s punk chick.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
So that would be my 3. Yeah,
that's dope. Okay, then here's one that you're going to be really irritated if you had to pick 3. Now you get to choose 1.
Okay.
It's a song you're stuck listening to for the rest of your life. Not on repeat, but anytime music would play, it's going to be this song.
Wow, that's Jerusalem by Sleep. It's a whole album that's one song.
Holy fuck, that was quick.
Yeah, it's Stoner Rock, Sleep, Jerusalem. They actually redid it and renamed it Dope Smoker, but it's basically the same structure. So Sleep.
That's awesome. Mine's Flock of Seagulls I Ran So Far.
Okay, yeah. I'm familiar with that.
Again, silent fucking Chico. You weren't supposed to make me answer that question. Now I have to answer it every time. But mine's and I ran. How do you not like that? Like,
it's very, it's thematic. It's like soundtracky.
Austin Powers had the best joke ever in The Spy That Shagged Me when he's taking the chick back to the future, and she's like, but I don't want to miss the 80s. He's like, there's a flock of seagulls, and that's it.
I forgot about that, but yeah.
That's why he said that, because he already knew the greatest from the 80s.
That's awesome.
Then, so my final question, what do you want to do with your music? 7 words or less.
Share, influence, inspire, network.
And he lives that. So, you're already doing that, Surreal.
I appreciate
You are already doing that.
I'd like to say shout out to all the names that we name dropped, and then the people involved in the scene that we didn't specifically name drop. Keep doing your thing. Love, respect, just awesome, mad props to you guys. And worldwide, I mean, the Milky Way, the universe. If you're working on art, music, photography, production, wherever your creative juice flows out of, just keep doing your thing, and keep networking, keep meeting new people, and
don't be afraid of being told no, because somebody's going to tell you yes.
Yeah, a lot of doors get slammed in your face, but
that doesn't mean you're not worth it. Like, I've been told no. If I gave up off of every time I was told no on a paint job, I wouldn't be sitting behind this camera, and I'd be,
Was it Pee Wee Herman or somebody that said to all the little people I stepped on my journey to the top, they may now step on me or something. I don't know. I'm misquoting it, but
either way, that's still a good one. Don't give up, guys. Like, if Zach gave up, he wouldn't be sitting here.
That's right. I wouldn't be chilling with Daisy.
Yeah, hanging out on the Mountain Dew Review. And with that, Surreal, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Adam. I appreciate it.
I want to thank you for what you do for the scene. You probably hear it a lot, maybe not enough, but everybody here, and I'm talking to you guys, we all love and appreciate you. And
I appreciate it. That's humbling.
if it wasn't for you, half of these guys probably wouldn't have the encouragement to do what they do. I know you keep a lot of guys going. You keep a lot of guys' faith up there. And in case you're not told that enough, thank you very much from us, from the scene.
Appreciate it.
We really appreciate you. And Surreal, I'm very proud to announce you are officially tramp stamp approved.
That's illy.
Don't forget, go back at the beginning of the video, email them, hit them up.
Rock and roll. Thanks for having me, Adam.
Love you guys. Peace.